Today we're going to talk about something every single person who's thinking of getting a mortgage needs to know, okay? I've been a mortgage lender for 18 years. I'm licensed in 48 states. My team's one of the top purchase teams in America, blah, blah, blah. Bottom line, I see a lot of applications, okay? And we love working with all of you. Mortgage, I'm trying to figure out how to word this and not be salty. Okay, right now the mortgage industry is really trying to use technology wherever they can, and there's been some real benefits from it. You know, we can move faster than we ever used to be. You know, doing, for instance, a VA loan 18 years ago versus now, like, man, we can move like lightning. You know, there's a lot of stuff that technology has done that has been incredibly beneficial for the mortgage industry. Where I think that the mortgage industry falls on its face is with online mortgage applications. And look, I've gone through a couple different companies recently, and here's the problem. There's two problems. Number one, there's probably three problems. I'm gonna list a lot. So first of all, a mortgage application is only as good as the income and assets that you put in, right? A couple of years ago, when the mortgage applications online that started being a big thing, I did a video with my dog Muppet. And the concept of the video was Muppet just got pre-approved for a mortgage. You know, Muppet put in that she made $10,000. Muppet put in that she had $400,000 in the bank. Muppet was lying, but the computer gave Muppet an approval, so Muppet went shopping. Now look, do I think a lot of people go on to mortgage applications and lie? No, it's not going to benefit you because they'll never close you with lies. However, do I think that you, not a lender, knows all the intricacies of income, also the different loan programs? You know, you might fill out an application thinking you're doing FHA. I might look at it and go, actually, after I look at your docs and everything else, go, hey, I think conventional would be better. Here's why. The computer's not going to do that, okay? And what I'm seeing right now is there's also a disconnect. There's a disconnect between product, technology, and guidelines. And the reason's this. In loan officer world, what we're dealing with is changing every single day. To expect someone in technology to have any clue what we do or how it works, it's not likely, right? But you've got all these big companies and these other companies that then license out their software where they're trying to build this, you know, one size fits all. Oh, you know, the loan originators, we're going to make their life easier. They're not even going to have to look at the applications. And we're going to tell the consumer what they qualify for. But it's wrong. It's wrong, you know. And that's the thing that I think you guys need to know. Would I, knowing what I know, okay, would I ever trust an instant mortgage approval? No. Would I even pay attention to what the system tells me after I fill out my application? No. I might look at the credit score. Most of them are going to do a soft pull credit, though. They might only do one bureau. It's not super accurate. I might look at that for funsies. But I'm going to wait to talk to my loan officer. I'm going to wait to upload my documents unless I already have a list. If I have a list of documents, I'm going to upload them. I'm going to wait for my loan officer to review everything before I take anything too seriously. And that's because the stuff that I see every day is wrong. So for instance, look, I'm very honest about what's going on in my world. There's currently a pop-up that's happening. We had another pop-up last year, which we found out about, that was just telling people, hey, your credit's not good enough, when it was. And it was like, oh my God, how long has this been going on? We only found out because a client said to me, Jen, this said this. And I was like, well, that's wrong because of this guideline change that happened on XYZ date, right? So we fixed that. I've got a pop-up right now where basically you fill out a mortgage application and it says, you get a little pop-up that's like, hi, Paul, approval. And it has a number, like a loan amount. And then there's like a weird button at the bottom that says start a new loan. And it's wrong. It's totally wrong. We don't have your documents. We haven't looked at your file. And look, the computer's trying to be helpful, but it's wrong. And I sit there and I go, you know, I'm so blessed because so many of you guys come to us through YouTube. Like, you know, the team and I, you're going to reach out. You know, we're not going to be like rude, and we're like, no, that's wrong. Oh my God, that's wrong. Like, how do we make it stop? It's wrong. I am not alone in this plight. This is happening around the country, guys, and you're going to see more of it. That's the thing. We're moving into an era where they're trying to get these mortgage applications to do more of the qualifying up front. And I think that for really easy files, it's possible, right? You know, if you upload all your documents, if you're doing a conventional loan, if you have a salary, I think it will be 1, 2, 3 easy. But for everybody else in America, it's not accurate. And it's not just us. We see it at other companies as well, where consumers are getting declined for a loan, you know, and the loan officer's not following up. Like, that's a big one, because companies will have like an auto adverse where if like the computer, there's certain things wrong, it just declines you. You know, generally you're going to see that at like a call center type. Whereas if we see a file and we're like, yeah, this doesn't look right, we want to call you and talk about it. Because I have to tell you, there's been so many times that an application comes over and Jolene will be like, the debt to income's so high, like, I don't know. And then Jen Anderson or myself or Sam will call and someone's like, oh yeah, I paid all that off. Okay, well, if we hadn't had those people asking those questions, the computer would have just declined you. And I think that you're seeing that more and more every day, especially with call centers. They don't have the bandwidth to follow up, to say, hey, like, we're seeing this, but is this legit? It's just, you didn't meet the box, you're done. And what I want you to know is that, look, none of that, you want to talk to a real person. It's not necessarily accurate. It doesn't know exactly what happened. When we're looking at credit reports, they're not to the minute. You know, your income, like, it's pretty funny. I was doing, and they've fixed this, but a couple of years ago, I actually applied with my own company. I'm a mortgage lender, guys, but the way something was worded, I put in my income for monthly, but it was annually. But it was worded where I thought it was monthly. And so my sister got the app because I had her doing my pre-approval and she was laughing. She's like, you're so dumb. You can't fill out the application. And I screenshotted it and I'm like, what would you have put? You know, and that's the thing. So much of this is so confusing, but people are getting declined or people being told, hey, you qualify for this when maybe you don't, you know? And that's what I worry about. I worry about someone getting something where it's like, hey, you're pre-approved for 400 and you're like, oh God, I need 500 and you don't answer the phone when I call. That's what I worry about, you know? Or I worry about the person where they were declined by a computer and nobody's calling them to say, hey, like, what's going on? Let's make sure this information's right. Because as someone who looks at all these applications every day and my team reviews them all, I'm telling you right now, the stuff that comes over from the applications versus the reality is often very different. That's number one, because you guys aren't looking at underwriting guidelines, okay? Also, the credit thing we talked about. Also, sometimes people don't put in all their assets. Like, there's so much to it. Number two, the computers don't know all the guidelines. Also, so many of these loan programs have shades of gray where if an algorithm's trying to figure it out, it could just say no when it is a yes. So the bottom line is this. Are you still going to be filling out your information on an online application? With most people, absolutely. And that's just because of the time. However, do not take what the computer tells you seriously. Do not trust it. Do not take it. Talk to a loan officer. Get all your documents so the loan officer can review it. You know, we always fully underwrite everything, but like the loan officer at a minimum needs to review all of your documents. You need to talk about different loan programs. At that point, you will know what you're pre-approved for and not a moment sooner. So I hope this video was helpful, but it's one of those things where it's like I'm watching it and I'm like, oh my God, I know the direction the industry is going in and I'm just a little bit worried right now because I don't think the tech is where it needs to be to give you, the buyer or the person refinancing, the real deal and the real amount of options. So thanks for watching. Questions, comments, as always, please reach out.